What's up, mamas? Welcome to Kids OT Help. I wanted to jump on today to share 3 things that I think every parent should know before offering solid foods to your little ones. So quickly, I just want to apologize because I do have another link for this video. So all the links that I'm going to mention, I'm going to put in this particular video link, technical difficulties. But I'd like to start off by introducing myself. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Nicole, and I'm a pediatric occupational therapist, and I specialize in feeding, and I actually recently just became a lactation consultant. So I spend a lot of my time working with little ones, trying to get them to develop their skills to be independent feeders. And I've actually put together a free PDF for all of you guys down. You'll find it in the description box after this stream ends. It is the major milestones for feeding. So we're going to start all the way from 4 months old to 5 years of age, because really it takes about 5 years for our little ones to master the skills necessary to be independent eaters. So there's a lot of foundational skills that we're building from the very beginning, 4 months to 5 years. So if you're interested in that, I have a lot of parents that say that this information is really helpful in terms of what to expect. Go ahead and click the link. It'll be down in the description box, and you can get your copy of that. All right, guys, well, let's get into it. There are 3 major things that I want to talk about in terms of offering your kids solid foods. And these are things that I feel aren't necessarily touched on very often, whether it's in the baby-led weaning book or other videos that I've seen when it comes to offering solids. The first thing that I think that you guys should take into consideration is your attitude and your energy, because it plays a really big part in how your little one deals with mealtime. So, you may be thinking, well, this is obvious, or maybe you've never even thought about it, but what are your feelings about this? Are you feeling scared? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Does it give you a lot of anxiety? Have you had past experiences that haven't gone well? And so now when it comes to sitting down with your baby and offering them food, do you just feel like icky or strange about it? I think, in my opinion, the best thing we can do as parents is acknowledge where we're at, So it's okay if you're scared. It's okay if you're anxious. It's okay if you're nervous. If we can acknowledge those feelings, then we can take a step and say, all right, how do I shift this so I can show up best for my little one? And, give them the feeling that it's okay. Like, we're good. You've got this. I've got this. I have the skills to keep you safe. So for me, it's acknowledging. So if you're feeling stressed, okay, why do we feel stressed? Do you feel like there's a knowledge gap? Do you feel like you're super concerned about your little one choking on food? Okay, hey, I've got a whole playlist on baby-led weaning and tips, hacks, all those sorts of things to help you feel more confident in starting this journey if this is what you choose to do. I'm even offering a course. I'm coming out with a course titled Foundations for Feeding. And, we're going to go over this in detail, like every aspect. And it's designed for the parent who wants step A through Z, walk me through it, and relieve my stress so I feel confident when I sit down with my little one. And I know how to offer foods. I know how to keep them safe. I know what I need to do to facilitate independent eating skills. So, let's help close the gap if that's what it's about. If you just need an energy shift, then consider meditating, consider dancing, consider exercising before mealtime, just to get that nervous energy out of the way. And so, you and little one are bonding, because I will tell you, some of you guys may know this, but these babies rely on us to help regulate them from a physiological standpoint from day one. I mean, for those of you who have done skin to skin, which is basically where your baby is just placed on your chest. So when they're naked and you've got no t-shirt, nothing on, and you're skin to skin, just that physical contact can regulate your little one's heart rate. It regulates their internal temperature. It decreases their stress levels. So we're powerful beings, and they're really relying on us to give them the A-OK that everything's fine, you know? So let's not think that 6 months later that they're not relying on us, or that they can't sense our energy, and that that doesn't affect them, because it absolutely does. So just acknowledge where you're at, and then, let this be a resource if you need more education, or if you need a run, whatever it is. Like, let's help shift you to a positive mindset, so that way your little one is feeling confident. All right, so the second thing that I want to chat with you guys about is there is and continues to be a big misconception about gagging and choking. So a lot of parents aren't clear on the difference between gagging and choking, and there's a lot of confusion. People think that gagging is choking. But I want to clarify this for you, and I've mentioned this in prior videos, so I will leave a link to my baby-led weaning playlist, so you guys have access to all these videos where I touch on these and go more in depth. But gagging is a protective mechanism. It helps keep food out of your baby's airway, whereas choking is an occlusion of the airway. So if we're choking, if we're truly choking, you'll see color change. Your child may turn dusky, a grayish, a bluish. When food is in your airway, you can't make noise because you need air to be able to speak. So if you have a true occlusion of the airway, you won't hear anything. You will see your child panic, and God forbid this ever happens, but I just want to make clear the difference between gagging and choking, because gagging has audible sounds. I mean, it does sound scary, especially if you're new to that and you haven't seen it before. But gagging is a protective mechanism, and it is developmentally appropriate for our little ones who are learning to eat. In the beginning, so from about 6 months when we're offering solid foods to about 9 months of age, that gag reflex is seated in the anterior 2/3 of your baby's mouth. So it's going to be a lot easier for that to be triggered. I mean, if they are putting stick-shaped foods in their mouth, they may push it back too far. They're sticking it in the center of their mouth instead of over where their molars will be. They've got to learn to map the boundaries of their mouth, and they do learn pretty quickly. So you may hear some scary gagging at first, but most children learn to navigate this, and they say, okay, that was too far back. I've learned my lesson. I'm just going to bring it a little bit to the side, or we won't go so far back. What's great about this reflex is you've got this 3-month window or so where, that gag reflex is seated further forward, as opposed to when it's 9 months or so, we're going to move back to the last 1/3 of our mouth. And that's where our gag reflex is now. And it takes quite a bit to trigger that. So I consider that Mother Nature's extra gift in terms of making sure that food stays out of that airway. So the third thing I wanted to chat with you guys about is positioning. This is another piece that I'm like, I don't see a whole lot of this talked about. And unless you're in this field, it'd be hard as a parent to know, is my child seated properly? How does this impact their ability to eat? But I will tell you, positioning is huge. So some high chairs, like the Graco high chair, I do have a kit link with all of my feeding recommendations. I will also put that in the description box for you. But one of those high chairs, I like it because it's one of the least expensive high chairs from some of the other ones that are, anyways, it's in the list. Some of them are very pricey, and then some of them are more affordable. And the Graco is a pretty popular high chair. One thing I don't like about it is it has a recline feature. And your child shouldn't be reclined when they're eating. What we want for them is to be in a 90, 90, 90 degree position. So that's 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees, and 90 degrees at the ankles. This is approximately. Your child should never be reclined. I will just state that again because it's super important. Your child should be upright when they're eating. So we have a saying in OT, distal stability. So what happens at the outer part of our bodies, whether it's our hands or our feet, so that's the distal part of our body. Distal stability equals proximal mobility. So if our kiddo is feeling stable through their feet and their hips, it's a lot easier for them to concentrate on what's happening at the lips and their ability to move their tongue or munch. If they don't have a footrest on their high chair and their feet are just kind of swinging around, that decreases from their stability. So I always like to recommend parents find a high chair that has a footrest. If you have one that doesn't have a footrest, we can chat about how to make one, or, kind of Jimmy rig, put something together so that way your child has somewhere to place their feet and find that stability. Because if you were to imagine, say you're out at a bar and you're sitting in one of those tall bar stools and there's like no space for your feet, and you're supposed to sit there and enjoy a drink and a meal, it's kind of hard. Like, you will find that we go searching for somewhere to place our feet, because even us who have more developed muscle groups, we're constantly searching for stability too. So of course, your little one who has just learned to sit up is going to be seeking that stability. And I promise, like, I've seen it time and time again, if you give your child that stability, all of a sudden they're like a fantastic eater. They just needed that stability. So in my course, we're going to dive in deep and talk about ways that we can adjust, the way your child is seated so that you're getting more of that 90-90-90. Sometimes I see if the high chair has like a wide seat, your little one is kind of flopping over to the side this way or that way. And there's super easy fixes. We can get into it another time, just so that they feel more stable and they're not flopping from side to side and their feet have somewhere to go. All right, you guys, those are the 3 things I just wanted to briefly touch on with you. Get you thinking about that before you offer solid foods to your little one. Be sure you get the PDF in the description box. I will make sure that is all there for you as soon as I log off of here. If you're interested in learning more about these courses, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and I'll make sure you guys are in the loop. This will be coming out in the next several weeks, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Let me hop over here and see if we have any questions. Okay. Hey, Amy. So we say, when should it be expected that your little one will actually swallow? It seems like my child has much come out as it goes in. Okay. So your little one's swallowing from day one. I mean, they're swallowing before they come out of the womb. They're swallowing amniotic fluid. So that is something that they come equipped with. They're swallowing formula or breast milk, whatever it is. So they've got that. But in terms of actual foods, what I think you're seeing is what's called a thrust reflex. And that kind of happens till about 6 months of age, where their tongue only does 2 motions, in and out, in and out. In order for us to actually chew food, swallow it, we've got to be able to lateralize our tongue. So move it to the side, move it to our molars, chew, chew, and then our tongue pushes the food to the back of our mouth, and then we swallow. I will tell you, in the early stages, your child does not have that coordination, and that's totally fine. It's totally expected. They may get just a little bit in their mouth, and they may swallow just a little bit, and that's developmentally appropriate. So it's the practice, though. It's the consistency of offering food that allows their tongue to move into the next stage of, okay, we're not just going in and out, back and forth. Now we're doing a little movement side to side. And we need that side to side movement to move the food over to our molars to chew and push the food to the back of our mouth to swallow. Okay, so I see another question in here. What if my little one is not sitting yet? Can I still put her in a high chair? Okay, so I wouldn't recommend that. I definitely wouldn't recommend offering food if your little one isn't sitting yet or isn't very close to sitting yet. If you want to prop your little one up in a high chair just to like join the experience of mealtime, I'm all for that. There are, just quickly, if you want to roll some towels up and put them on the side so they're not leaning over so much, feel free to do that and just bring them in. I always encourage parents, make your little one a part of mealtime. Like, this is how they become motivated by food. This is how they're, show an interest for food, which are all prerequisites before offering them food. So absolutely, if you have a chair that's appropriate for them, feel free to give them a little extra support so they can watch you guys eat and learn what the mealtime experience is all about. I appreciate you guys hopping on here and joining me live. Again, if any other questions come up, any other concerns, if you guys enjoy this, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and leave your comments and questions down below, and I will get back to you. All right, mamas, thanks so much for joining. And dads, I appreciate you too. Have a good one. Bye.